Data center cooling in Asia Pacific is under pressure, with capacity set to more than double to 26.1 gigawatts by 2028 and cooling already taking up to 40% of a facility's energy use. Joining us to explore what that means is Abel Nanakumar from Copeland and Sheikh Safik from Frost and Sullivan. Abel and Sheikh, what specialized cooling technologies will be most critical for this data center capacity growth?
In large AI data centers, one of the growing trends is water-free cooling. And in Copeland, we have developed a proprietary bearing technology. We call it as aerolift bearing to enable that water-free cooling more efficiently. It's particularly applicable in warmer climates like most of the APAC countries. The other areas you can think of is as the AI is growing, more the smaller modular and edge data centers are also growing. And we have offered a variable speed compressor combined with the inverter drives and controller for OEMs to quickly deploy that in the market. And when compared to most of our peer players, sometimes we are up 15% more efficient than the peer players. The third one is that as we also working hard to enable efficient compression technologies, we are also enabling the transition to greener energy. And battery energy storage is an enabler for green energy storage for grid balancing. And we have compressors specifically designed for this highly critical application to keep the batteries safe and reliable at all times.
At Frost and Sullivan, we are identifying major technology to be liquid-based cooling, especially direct-to-chip cooling and immersion cooling. So these segments are expected to grow at a CAGR of 29% by 2030, jumping from a market share of 10% in 2023 to 27% in 2030. These technologies are critical to support the cooling needs of high density racks, where the capacity have already reached 100 kilowatt and now is expected to reach 400 kilowatt with increasing AI workloads. We're also seeing demand from high density cooling solutions. So these are in-front, in-row, and rear-end cooling systems, which are increasingly being deployed at modular and edge data centers. So overall, liquid cooling solutions are no longer considered optional, but they are the future of sustainable high density cooling for data centers in Asia Pacific market.
Sheikh, which supply chain bottlenecks could slow manufacturing of next gen cooling solutions?
We have narrowed down three core challenges in the market. The first being the operator's resistance to change. That's a strong inclination towards the traditional cheap cooling systems. This needs to be addressed. The second major challenge arises from the ongoing US China tariffs, which has resulted in escalating shipping container rates that had an impact at the final price for these systems originating from China and being installed in Asia Pacific region. The third core challenge is the chip shortages, which constrains the supply of smart controllers, which makes these cooling equipment intelligent. So overall, without diversifying sources and partnerships, these next generation cooling technologies will simply not grow fast enough to meet with the increasing demand.
Asia is a very diverse region. So there are regulations, and most of the times the regulations are built around the countries, and the regulations are tied for systems, for environmental compliances, safety, as well as trade compliances. So it's diverse and have varying degree of requirements driven by the regulations. So, but at Copeland, we are actually fairly well positioned to deal with this because of this diverse requirement. We have two state-of-the-art engineering centers in China and India. We also have micro hubs located in the key countries to coordinate with the customers, with the regulators, with the developers with our main engineering center. So we operate like a hub and spoke approach to manage that. We are actually in a way very nicely positioned to support this diverse requirement which comes in Asia Pacific.
Abel and Sheikh, how can regional manufacturers position themselves as key suppliers in Asia's data center growth?
It's not one size fits all for data center cooling. Take the example, right? One of the major hubs is Southeast Asia, and Southeast Asia is year-round hot and humid. And on the other extreme, the four-season weathers prevail in China, Korea, or Japan. So they are completely diametrically opposite to each other. Now you consider also the density of most of the cities. Take examples like Hong Kong, where I live, and Tokyo. These are data centers are vertically stacked, and they create unique complications on how you manage the airflow. Because of this diverse need, climate, weather conditions, how you manage the airflow, there are very unique opportunities exist for regional manufacturers to take that regional requirements and optimize it and offer a very efficient cooling system.
By 2030, we are estimating Asia Pacific to command 48% of the global cooling market. So this is a market opportunity to the tune of over 9 billion. At Frost, we have a growth generator framework through which we have identified key focus areas for the regional players. The first and foremost being innovation. Innovate relentlessly. Focus on developing modular liquid cooling technologies tailored for the hot tropical climate in the region. These technologies should justify the long term OPEX gains and that can outweigh the high capex to the customers. The second recommendation for the regional players is on partnership with the industry stakeholders, be it EPC players, be it suppliers, be it the installers and subcontractors. These partnerships will allow the regional players to target and win high value hyperscale projects. These are the big ticket wins. The final recommendation is to lead with sustainability and focus on local support. This is where exactly the global suppliers are currently lagging.
Thank you so much for your time today, Abel and Sheikh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, those were Abel Nanakumar, Vice President for Commercial HVAC, Asia, Middle East, and Africa at Copeland, and Sheikh Safiq, Principal Consultant at Frost & Sullivan. For more news, please visit manufacturing.asia.